Hi guys, and welcome to today's instructional video on text features. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So I want you to take a peek at these two articles, these two little snippets of articles that I have here. These are both nonfiction texts, meaning that they are not made up stories. And I want you to see if, even though I haven't given you the whole text, what do you think each of these are about? What do you think this first one is about? Okay. And what do you think this second one over here is about? Now, you might have said that this one is probably about elephants. Maybe it's about how animals think and feel. It might be a research article. Maybe it's how we build relationships with them. And this one, you might have said, "Oh, well, it's about subheadings, whatever those are." How did you know? You don't really have any body text here, especially in this first one. All you have are what is called text features. Now, text features are the things that authors will add to a nonfiction piece to kind of make it easier to read and to help the reader decode what's happening. So here you have several. You have an image, you have a caption, you have a title, you have another subtitle here. Here you have a subheading, you have body, you have a graphic. There's a lot. These are all things that help make reading easier to do. So, like I said, these are added special elements that aren't just what the person wrote. And they're included so that we can draw the reader's attention to the important details. These are things like titles, headings, subheadings, diagrams, illustrations, pictures, glossaries, maps, boldface, italics, photos, captions. There is a lot to this. Basically, if you wrote an essay, right, you might have a piece of writing done, but these are all the things that can make it look like a finished product because they make it easier to read and they make it easier to digest. Now, I want to give you some examples of the most common text features. You probably already know what a title is, hopefully. But the title sort of tells you what's on the menu, right? If we're doing a metaphor with dinner for this, your title tells you what's for dinner. Like we're having meatloaf or we're having classic American dinner. Your headings get a little more specific, right? So our headings are going to tell us they're going to break the dinner into pieces. Okay, you're having meatloaf and then you're having corn and then you're having green beans. We get a little more specific. And when we go outside the metaphor, our headings, they like to introduce new sections or topics. They're meant to grab a reader's attention so you can kind of skim, right? And then you also have subheadings. These are even smaller. This is like breaking things down into bite-sized pieces. These are smaller than headings, size-wise, and then they introduce more specific topics. So, for example, the title of this article was what are subheads, right? This would be a heading. We break it into more pieces. I know this section is going to be about writing with subheadings. Here's the regular text. This is a subhead. We get even more specific. This is where I can kind of skim, and I don't even have to fully read to get the main idea. So I know focus on the organization is going to be what they talk about here. I know separating the content is going to be what they talk about here. And both of those topics belong to this topic. And then this header belongs to the title, which is all about subheads. Now, when we talk about boldface versus italics, you've probably heard bolded text before. But the official fancy schmancy term for it is boldface. Boldface is when the print is darker than the rest of the sentence. So right here, I have a bunch of boldface for you. And this is going to signal, just like italics will, that there's important information or that there are new words coming at you. Meanwhile, italics are that slanty print, and it looks kind of like this here. They're also going to signal your important words. They're going to signal new ideas, but they also can show you if the word is from a different language. So over in this actual nonfiction article here, we have some regular things, but we also have italics, adaptations. So that's introducing a new word to us. We also have one right here, hatchlings. That's introducing another vocab word for us, right? So you can kind of see those are drawing your attention. Italics kind of are things for you to brush by as you read, but boldface is going to pop out at you even if you're not like, even if you're just skimming. So both of them are used for emphasis. Now, when we talk about photos and illustrations, these are things that are going to help break up the text and make it a little more digestible. When you're looking at like a textbook, for example, and you look at a page and it is all text, you kind of experience some dread. It kind of sucks. You're like, mm. But if it's broken up by pictures, it feels really easy to read. It's not super overwhelming. So, they also have the ability to like clarify what someone's talking about. Now, I have description here. The old schoolhouse is falling apart. It had been abandoned for so long that nature started to take over. But I don't know if my vision of that and the author's vision of that are the same until I see this graphic. Now we're united. We both see this. And over here, I have a schoolhouse diagram, right? Someone illustrated this. It's drawn. Schoolhouses are small buildings. They only have one room. And this illustration helps me visualize that. It also helps break up the text. So, graphics can help you understand an article as well. And then, oh, that's it. That's all I have for you today. So remember, the idea behind text features is that these are going to draw your attention to the important details of a text. They're going to emphasize the main points. So they're really helpful at helping clarify the author's purpose and what could be the central or main idea of a text. These are usually going to be found in nonfiction, by the way. All right, so you can go ahead and you can move on to your next activity.